जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, Dr. Shafaq. I think
Welcome.
I think we can start now.
Yes, because it's already 6 minutes above.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. So, I welcome you all to
Walaikum
today's,
assalam.
I welcome you all to today's closing ceremony of the July cohort of this BMY Online Health Research Internship batch. And I have already shared the agenda of today's session. So, first we will go through the presentation of all 4 groups. This is the final project presentations, and maximum 10 to 12 minutes will be allotted for the presentation, and then this will be followed by some question and answer and discussion with our audience and other mentors who have joined the meeting. And after these 4 presentations, we'll then proceed with the announcement of some prizes and awards for the top performers, and also then we'll, at the end of the session, we'll then have a small feedback discussion with all of you to help improve the program in future, inshallah. So that's the brief outline, and without wasting any time, since our group 1 is ready, so I will hand over the floor to Dr. Faizan. I think you are going to present.
Yes, it's me and Dr. Mesa. Dr. Frial is not available. She's had some emergency situation.
Okay. So it's okay. Then good luck to group 1. All the best, and you can start with your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shafaq, for the introduction. Thank you to BMY Health for giving us the opportunity to work on this paper. I'm Rumaisa. Our research topic is Bridging the Gap, a study on mental health of institutionalized children and caregivers' effectiveness. Within our group, we have Dr. Faryal, Dr. Faizan, and myself. This is supervised by Dr. Saima Masumali. In terms of the importance of the research, we wanted to shed light on the marginalization faced by institutionalized adolescents. These young individuals are often at a significant disadvantage compared to their peers, primarily due to limited access to comprehensive care that extends beyond just their basic needs. Reports from UNICEF and the WHO highlight that institutionalized children are at a heightened risk for severe mental health issues, including clinical depression and behavioral problems, which are compounded by the lack of stable and nurturing environment. Moreover, caregivers who play a pivotal role in the emotional and psychological support of these children often struggle with inadequate training and support, hindering their ability to fulfill this vital role effectively. This research also aims to address these gaps by advocating for informed policy changes that prioritize the mental health outcomes of institutionalized children. And now Dr. Faizan will be going over our study.
Thank you, Dr. Mesa. So the study objective, the study aims to assess the emotional well-being of institutionalized children and evaluate caregivers' well-being and awareness of social prescription to enhance care delivery. It will identify key factors affecting children's emotional development and explore how caregivers' readiness impact their ability to provide holistic care. The next is study design. Our study is a cross-sectional quantitative and qualitative descriptive study. And for data collection, it was collected in person. We administered a structured and standardized questionnaire, and we did some group discussions. The population for the study was consisted on institutionalized children from age 6 to 17 years old and their caregivers in the selected institutions in Punjab, Pakistan. For children, we used SDQ to measure emotional symptoms, conduct problems, peer relationship issues, hyperactivity, and pro-social support. For caregivers, structured questionnaires to evaluate emotional states, stress level, and preparedness for providing emotional support. The focus of the study is adolescents' emotional difficulties and exploring caregivers' well-being and awareness to enhance care delivery through social prescription. The outcome of the study is we understood the challenges faced by both children and caregivers and analyzed how these factors influence the emotional well-being of institutionalized children. And data integration, quantitative data will be used to interpret the relationship between caregivers' readiness and emotional difficulties of children, and qualitative data will be used to observe and compare the condition within the institution. The plan of analysis, it's a descriptive analysis. The SDQ scores calculate mean, median, and standard deviation for each SDQ domain, which include emotional symptoms, conduct problems, peer relationship problems, hyperactivity, and pro-social behaviors. and we'll analyze the distribution to identify common patterns and area of concern. And for demographics, we summarize characteristics like gender and location using frequencies and percentages. And for caregivers, the questionnaire scores we'll calculate the mean, median, and standard deviation for emotional states, knowledge of interventions, and their stress level and readiness to address children's need. And the demographics summarize the characteristics, including gender, their educational background, and the role within the institution using frequencies and percentages. And the tool we used for stats is IBM SPSS Statistics version 28 for all the analysis. We have seen some specific features in each institute. So before going to the results section, we'll discuss the features we found in the institutions. For the Courage Center stands out with its comprehensive facilities, including 24/7 medical care, high quality furniture, multimedia classroom, and modern sports field. It provides balanced meals and promote leadership through student councils. With the strong emphasis on extracurricular and technology in learning, it ensures a holistic environment for adolescent growth. For Tranquil Heaven offers basic amenities with a structured boarding school setup and strict hierarchy. It maintains cleanliness and provides 24/7 medical services, while it offers few extracurricular and limited sports equipment. It does provide a balanced diet and incorporate a strong religious environment. For the Serenity Home, Serenity Home prioritizes quality care with a favorable caregiver ratio, well-furnished air-conditioned room for the orphan children, and a balanced diet. It features access to a tertiary care hospital, trained sports teacher, and activities like musical concerts and city outings. The focus on character building and daily religious teachings add depth to its nurturing approach. Hope House, which is located on the outskirts of the city, struggles with the limited resources and no on-site medical facility. Children receive unbalanced diet, and there are no sports or play areas. Caregivers who are underpaid, and most of them are widowed females, they face significant challenges. The children here often appear reserved with low self-esteem, highlighting the need for greater support. The next section is data analysis and research results, which Rumesa will be telling you. On to you, Dr. Rumesa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faizan. This graph shows two key aspects of institutionalized children's well-being: pro-social behavior, which reflects positive interactions with others, and total difficulties, which includes emotional and behavioral challenges like distress, hyperactivity, and peer issues. What this graph highlights is a stark contrast between these dimensions. Notably, Tranquil Heaven and Hope House show the highest total difficulties, including significant emotional and behavioral challenges among their residents. In contrast, Serenity Home and Courage Centers report the highest pro-social behavioral scores, suggesting a more supportive environment that fosters positive interactions. Pro-social behavior is lowest at Tranquil Heaven and Hope House, reinforcing the idea that environments with higher total difficulties may struggle to promote positive social behavior. A correlation analysis revealed a negative relationship between total difficulties and pro-social scores, suggesting that as emotional and behavioral challenges increase, pro-social behavior decreases. This is our caregivers' well-being data. A significant portion of caregivers reported mental health concerns, while others remain uncertain about their status. Physical health also appears to be a concern for many, with a considerable number experiencing issues. Moreover, more than half of the caregivers reported recent illness. These findings emphasize the need for targeted health interventions and support systems for caregivers. It is essential to address both mental and physical health concerns to ensure they receive the care and resources they need. We also did inferential analysis. So within our regression analysis, we evaluated the impact of pro-social behavior, age group, and gender on the mental health of institutionalized children. The model was found to be statistically significant, with age group emerging as the only significant predictor of mental health, indicating that older age groups tend to have higher mental health scores within the SDQ. Both pro-social behavior and gender, however, they did not show significant effect, suggesting that age is the most influential factor. We also did ANOVA test. It compares caregivers' mental health across different institutions. The results revealed a significant difference between institutions, with the institution type appearing to impact caregivers' mental health. This finding highlights the importance of institutional context in shaping caregiver well-being. Dr. Faizan and Dr. Fariel also conducted focus group discussions with the caregivers themselves, and they wanted to explore caregiver awareness and preference for social prescribing interventions. According to our survey, about 54.5% said that they were aware of social prescription, and about 33% of the caregivers weren't sure what it was, and about 12% said they haven't heard of it. When we asked them what kind of social prescription, what kind of intervention that would help social prescribing to implement within their institutions, they suggested about 84.8% suggested training sessions with healthcare or social service providers, and about over 60% supported group discussions or community meetings. In terms of preference for type of low cost or free activities or service preferred to enhance the well-being of adolescents and children in their care, about 84% supported local recreational activities, followed by community referrals and educational programs. Then comes emotional support. We're going to move on to practical recommendations and some closing remarks of our research. So in terms of the focus group discussions, the caregivers had their recommendations. So within Cohort Center, they wanted to focus on disciplining the children, educational excellence, and leadership development. This makes sense because Cohort Center does have more of a boarding school style format where the adolescents and children in their care have a lot more stricter schedule and less time for socializing. Within so within Cohort Center, they focus on discipline and educational excellences. However, they do provide like balanced meat and they do have extracurricular activities, whereas Tranquil Heaven is the opposite. They have the boarding school format where they have a lot more stricter schedule and less space for curricular activities. So they suggested more sports, games, art activities, and providing new sport equipments and materials. Hope House, on the other hand, they're also not that great in terms of financial support. So they wanted to suggest more improvements within basic needs, like ensuring a balanced diet, proper hygiene, quality clothes, because the adolescents and children in their care do not receive not even meat or fruits that much unless someone donates it to them. Within Serenity Home, we describe this institution as the luxurious institution where the children even go to KFCs like twice a week. So they do have a lot more social programs, extracurricular activities. However, the caregivers recommended that in terms of strengthening psychological support and strengthening their character building initiatives, there could be educational programs, and it could also support overall well-being and their personal development. From the focus group discussions, we had some key recommendations. So as we all know, social prescribing is a method where healthcare providers refer individuals to non-clinical services or community resources, such as support groups, nature-based activities, or educational program to address their social, emotional, and practical needs. This holistic approach supports mental and physical well-being by connecting individuals to community resources and support. For example, within Japan, some of the doctors, they provide prescriptions with nature-based prescriptions as well, along with medicines like forest bathing. Some of the key recommendations that we would include are community referrals, where institutions could incorporate community engagement as a core element of social prescribing initiatives. Nature-based biopsychosocial resilience theory suggests integrating nature-based activities to enhance biological, psychological, and social resilience. We could also include educational program, which addresses the need for skill building and learning as part of social prescribing, since about 82% of the caregivers highlighted that as a priority. And in terms of having a comprehensive approach, we could move more beyond just physical and mental health interventions so that the children receive a more holistic and multifaceted support model. Dr. Faizan will be going over the conclusions now. Thank you.
Thank you. The conclusion we found from our research project, we found that the future research should focus on long-term impact of social prescribing through longitudinal studies. It should expand to diverse cultural and socioeconomic regions for broader understanding. And the research should conduct to compare the institutionalized children and the community-based adolescents. and it should integrate social prescribing into care education initiatives to boost emotional support and caregiving. And there are some policy changes needed as well to enhance the support for trauma-informed care and social prescribing, especially in low-resource settings, as they are in our country like Pakistan. And the government should subsidize electricity bills and other resources. And there should be some it should fund some pilot projects for that purpose. The overall impact of the study is that it provides a foundation for improving the well-being of vulnerable children and caregivers, and it paves the path for more holistic and effective care practices. And the last section is the references, and if you want to see that, you can. There are link for that. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faizan, Dr. Rumessa, and also Dr. Faryal, who couldn't be a part of this meeting. And a very big congratulations to Dr. Saima also and the whole Group 1 for carrying out this excellent project with a complete potential for a very good publication in an international journal. And I'm very happy that you successfully did your data collection, and it is an example for the rest of the interns as well, that on-field data collection, the way you people executed is credible in such a short time. So many congratulations for that, first of all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I have other participants as well. We have mentors and Dr. Bushra as well. So please go ahead with your comments and questions and any suggestion and feedback for further improvement in this project. Please raise your hand and you can speak.
Yes, Dr. Shafaq. First of all, congratulations to this group. Wonderful, amazing research, and it's so much hard work in on-site data collection going in the field. So hats off to you, all the group, mentor, interns, Fizan. Fizan, how did you collect this data? Will you like to share any challenges and how many days it took to you? And did you go alone or who accompanied you?
For data collection, I contacted with various organizations here in working here. It's somebody.
Can you please unmute yourself? Who is the Dr. Shafaq? Can you mute him, please?
Dr. Rahman, can you mute yourself? Actually, I think I'll have to claim host and then I will be able to mute.
Am I the host? No, I'm not the host actually. Who is the host?
Yeah, just a second.
Dr. Rahman, excuse me. Can you please mute yourself?
So I'm the host now and I'll be able to.
Okay. Thank you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, Dr. Fazan,
Yeah.
how did you do that?
So I contacted the organizations. In my medical school, I worked with Al Khidmat Foundation and Minhajul Quran. So I had their contacts. So
Nice.
we used to arrange various medical camps with them. So I
Nice.
asked them to what orphanages they are running. So they gave us the permission for Al-Khidmat Ahosh and Ahosh Minhajul Quran. There is also a new orphanage started in Lahore, Al-Mara Foundation, which is very wonderful. They are very welcoming and they provide highest level services there for orphan children. We also help them to get their children treated as well at our hospital, Sheikh Zayed Lahore. So
Okay, nice. So how many days you had to go
it took
for
us
data collection?
almost 25 days to collect the data. We had to go out of city as well to Sialkot, to Sheikhupura. We were also planning to go to Rawalpindi, but our target was achieved and we had few days left. So we missed that. Otherwise, we were ready to go to Rawalpindi as well.
Amazing. I'm really impressed. This much hard work for data collection.
Yeah,
And you, who accompanied you?
Dr. Faryal. She was always with me, and
Nice.
we both used to go. But a few doctors from Sheikh Zayed who were also interested in the project and in the social work. because we used to
Okay.
work with these organizations. So they were also there to conduct the surveys. We used to go as a team of 4 persons. It was
Okay.
Dr.
Okay.
Moazzam and Dr. Hassan from Sheikh Zayed.
So that's amazing. So maybe uh, so overall it's amazing. It's a wonderful topic. So much
Yeah,
hard work into this, and we want this to be published in the best journal possible.
inshallah.
And it will be, inshallah, because it's a good quality project.
Yes.
And
And
some comments still we can make it even better.
yes,
A few things I think we can improve. I've noted the points. Can you show me the slides again?
yes. And Dr. Saima guided us a lot in every step of the path.
Yes, she is
We used,
amazing. She is
we used to
wonderful.
ask every little thing from her. How can we do that thing and this thing? So she was
Thank you.
very helpful at each step.
Dr. Saima, you are amazing.
It wouldn't be possible without her mentoring.
Great, great. Okay, so in study design, so we'll write here mixed method study, right? Because you have two components, qualitative as well as quantitative, right? So instead of writing cross-sectional quantitative, just write mixed method study. And there are further types of mixed method design. You can even write the detail of what design of mixed method. But at least the broader type of design is mixed method study. And then you can write in detail that quantitative was started, and then further it was followed by qualitative component. And sample size, I did not see here.
We had a total sample size of 251 children and
Yeah, it
adults.
has to be mentioned,
Okay,
right?
sorry.
When you
Yeah.
write the methods,
Yeah.
you have to write the sample size, so how it was calculated, what was the response rate, and how many interviews were done. Right, so mention that also in the presentation. So you will do that when you write the manuscript, but for the learning of others, because your slides are ready, you can present this sometime in conference also. So how will you improve this further? Secondly, plan of analysis may not be needed because you have to make a very smart presentation when you are presenting somewhere. Maybe I want you to present in this some conference, right? So when you have the results ready, you may not need this slide, and because everything is already presented in the results section. Secondly, another important thing, name of institutions we have mentioned here, but I think you can give them some codes, some names, Center A, Center B, Center C, right? Unless you have got the permission from them to publish their names. If not, then it's good to give them a label.
Dr. Bushra, I think these are already different labels for the institutions.
These are different? Oh,
Yeah, these
that's
are not the real names.
okay, okay. So that's intelligent. Thank you for telling me. So you have already done well. And lastly, how will you disseminate this and follow up? Other than publication, what is your plan?
We plan on writing a policy paper to the government to make sure that we can include, we can increase the funding for these institutions and also work with NGOs to support the funding for an institution like Hope House, which doesn't really have that much resources, even to provide basic needs like food and clothing and hygiene. So
I
we could
see.
also
Okay.
incorporate educational programs and other programming in terms of activities.
I see. Okay, so that's a good thought. Yeah. So maybe Dr. Saima can guide how things change, and because it's related to her field and she may be knowing the policy factors already. So maybe she can guide how to make a change in this area. So very good. Thank you for this hard work. Thank you, Dr. Saima, all the interns. I really appreciate.
Thank you, Dr. Bushra.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Any other comments from mentors? Or yes, Dr. Weiss.
Assalamualaikum. And first of all,
Welcome,
yes,
Sam.
the team has done really good work. And credit goes to all the members.
Dr. Wes, your voice is not clear.
Okay, let me speak a little louder. Is it better?
Yes, it's slightly better now.
Slightly better. Okay, so I will
Yeah.
keep increasing my voice and let me know when I'm okay. Well, all the members gets the credit, but most importantly, their mentors for giving direction and looking after all the whole work. Like this gives the best or the maximum appreciation. So thank you, Dr. Saima. Um, I have few comments just for because this is educational activity, so I will. So my comments should be taken as not should not be taken as like criticism, but just to make sure that in future, if any one of us doing something like this, we should take care of these issues. In data analysis, I saw the slide is presenting regression analysis and then ANOVA. And in regression, the presenter said that they found age to be significant or important variable, right? And then in ANOVA, there's other variable that is being significant or being influential. So when we look the data analysis, ANOVA is less robust than regression analysis, right? So because in ANOVA, we are comparing two variables, right? But in regression, when we are doing regression analysis, we are comparing many variables. We are still comparing one variable with another variable, but at the same time, we are controlling the effect of other variables that are present in the model, right? So that is why regression becomes more robust in terms of its output. Uh, so, so whatever the regression will tell will supersede what ANOVA was telling us, right? And that will become the that will give us the direction of the final conclusion of the result. That is one thing. Another thing is that somewhere, perhaps in plan of analysis or somewhere else, I saw the language is written as will be. So like that analysis will be conducted, so blah blah blah. So that shows that that is the language that we use in proposal development, or uh, that shows that this is the plan that we will follow, right? And therefore we would be having plan of analysis. You getting my point, the team?
Yes, yes, I can understand.
Yeah. About Dr. Bushra comment, so your plan of analysis will just be written as a data analysis method. The content, what you have written in plan of analysis, is okay, right? You just need to present it in a way that we conducted this kind of data analysis in our research.
Yeah, they can present not something forbidden, but I was just telling them to keep
Yeah, because plan of analysis gives
focused.
this that impression that this is what they will do in future.
Also, I
Right?
don't remember if I saw the discussion or reference literature review.
This is the references for our slides. Is this what
After
you mean?
results, did we compare with any other researches? Not here.
Yeah.
You
In
have
our, yeah.
you have written it elsewhere for the manuscript, but not in the slide. So that's fine. You can improve the slides later on if you plan to present it somewhere in the conference. And it's according to the templates or the style they require. But usually we try to include every important segment, but not in that much detail. I mean, not as much detail as the manuscript, but just the key points from every segment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bushra and Dr.
Thank
Wes.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank
Dr. Bushra and Dr. Wes, for your
Thank you.
valuable feedback. I think these were really important points, and for other groups also, whenever mentors are giving you feedback, then please, the group leaders are requested to take a note of all these points and incorporate these later on before sending your paper for publications. Okay, so good work, group 1, and now we'll proceed to our second presentation by group 2, which is being mentored by Dr. Sonia.
Dr. Shafak, I think we're group 3, but I don't think there's an issue if we go now.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Is
I
the
always
team ready?
confuse group 2 and group 3.
Okay, not a
So,
problem. I think whoever is ready, we can start. So, your call.
okay, okay. So so group 2 is Dr. Awais group, right?
Yes, Bilal group.
Okay, so if group 2 is ready and they want to go first, then please share your screen and go ahead.
Who is presenting?
Assalamualaikum. I'm Sayeda Sahaki presenting.
Okay.
Okay, Sahar,
Great.
yes, you can share your screen and you can start with the presentation, and good luck to the group and also to Dr. Awais.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Sayeda Saharaki and I'm here to present our research on the use of mediation analysis to assess the role of maternal exposure to domestic violence for our own experiences in childhood morbidity in Pakistan. My group members include Bilal Ahmed, Uruj Ramzan, myself, and Ukasha Tahir. Our mentors are Uwais Raza and Tahani Zaidi. Let's move to the introduction. Domestic violence, the physical, sexual, or emotional harm inflicted on women within intimate relationships. It severely affects women's mental and emotional well-being, leading to anxiety and depression. Globally, 27% of women aged 15 to 49 worldwide have experienced physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Surveys from the Pakistan Demographic and Health Survey for 2017-18 revealed an alarming percentage, 24.8, of violence against women in the last 12 months. A critical impact of our study is the concept of vertical transmission of domestic violence from mothers to daughters is of particular concern because mothers exposed to violence may lead to normalization. This intergenerational trauma might contribute to the detrimental effects on child health status by continuing the cycle of trauma and neglect. Let's move towards the objectives. Our main objective is to investigate the mediating role of maternal domestic violence in the relationship between maternal exposure to domestic violence and childhood morbidity in Pakistan. Our secondary objective is to determine the relationship between a mother's exposure to domestic violence and her own experience of domestic violence in current marriage. We also determine the relationship between maternal experience of domestic violence and childhood morbidity in Pakistan. Additionally, it seeks to quantify the direct and indirect effects of maternal exposure to domestic violence on childhood morbidity. Let's move towards methodology. To ensure clarity in our study, let's define the key terms we are using as operational definitions. Experience of domestic violence refers a mother who was a victim of domestic violence, while exposure to domestic violence indicates a mother who, during her childhood or adolescence, witnessed domestic violence executed against her own mother. Childhood morbidity. It is an indicator of child health. A child is considered to have morbidity if they had at least one of the following conditions in the past 2 weeks. Either it could be acute respiratory infection, fever, or diarrhea. Data. The study utilized data from the Pakistan Demographic and Health Service PDHS 2017 and 18. To analyze maternal and child variables, key variables for mothers include domestic violence experience, education level, marital control, and overall domestic violence. For children, variables include overall morbidity, diarrhea incidence, acute respiratory infection, and fever occurrence. The study sample is organized into 12 strata with the data collected from 450 primary sampling units. The final sample size consists of 2,662 participants. Initially, we planned to use the community questionnaire. However, due to a reduction in sample size resulting in only 10 respondents per cluster, we have decided to focus on primary sampling units instead. Statistical analysis. The analysis was conducted using Stata Multiprocess version 17. Using SPY prefix, analysis was accounted for stratification, clustering, and weighing. Bivariate analysis. Simple binary logistic regression were used to examine the association between each covariate and childhood morbidity. Radiation analysis is performed with GSEM command, which is Generalized Structure Equation Modeling command, in Stata to estimate direct and indirect effects. Hypothesized mediation model. This figure illustrates our hypothesized mediation model, which aims to explore the relationship between maternal exposure to domestic violence and child health outcomes, with maternal experience of domestic violence serving as a mediator. The path A, which also shows The intergenerational transmission of domestic violence represents the effects of maternal exposure to domestic violence on maternal experience of domestic violence. Part B. This part shows the effect of maternal experience of domestic violence on childhood health status. Part C, which is the direct part, shows the effect of maternal exposure to domestic violence on child health status. Overall, this model allows us to assess both the direct and indirect mediated effects, helping us to understand the underlying mechanism linking domestic violence exposure to childhood morbidity. Path A and Path B shows the indirect path, while Path C shows the direct path. Path A and Path B are secondary objective, while Path C is our primary objective. Inclusion criteria. Women with at least one children under 5 years. Women who have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. Exclusion criteria. Mothers with incomplete responses on domestic violence questionnaire. Results. The data of demographic characteristics of study variables showed that 40% of the children were under 2 years of age, 35% of mothers had a secondary level of education or higher, with 14% currently employed. Additionally, 42% of women were classified as having poor wealth status, half of the sample women had exposure to any form of media, and 12% had ever used the internet. Nearly half of the children, 47.6%, experienced at least one illnesses, with 37.6% affected by fever, 19.1% by diarrhea, and 13.8% by acute respiratory infection. In our study, 37.6% of mothers experienced at least one form of domestic violence, with 26.3% reporting physical violence, 5.6% sexual violence, and 29.6% emotional violence, whereas 23% of mothers reported to have witnessed domestic violence. Let's see the bivariate association between childhood morbidity, which is our outcome variable, and explanatory variables. Out of all the variables, we will discuss some of the variables which shows significant positive association with our childhood morbidity. Wife's education. The analysis shows a significant positive association between wife's education and childhood morbidity with an odds ratio of 1.27 and a p-value which is significant, suggesting that higher maternal education is protective factor for child health. Another variable which we discuss is media exposure. Media exposure in childhood morbidity with an odds ratio of 1.17 and a significant p-value suggests that media exposure is associated with better child health outcomes. Another variable which we discuss is women empowerment. Women empowerment and childhood morbidity with an odds ratio of 1.58 and significant p-value suggests that empowered women protects child against adverse health outcomes. Another variable which we discuss is domestic violence. Domestic violence and childhood morbidity having an odds ratio of 1.42 and significant p-value suggests that overall domestic violence, especially emotional abuse, are strongly linked to childhood morbidity. Let's take a closer look at the predictors and the relationship with the outcome in our study. The table summarizes the odds ratio, standard errors, 95% confidence interval, and p-values for each predictor. Experiencing domestic violence and witnessing domestic violence, which is our path A. The odds ratio for experiencing domestic violence as a predictor of witnessing domestic violence is 4.29 with a p-value which is highly significant. This suggests that the women who experiences domestic violence are more than 4 times less likely to witness it during their childhood. Experiencing domestic violence and childhood morbidity. It also has a significant association. The odds ratio is 1.34 with a p-value which is statistically significant. This suggests that maternal exposure to violence modestly increases the likelihood of childhood morbidity. Witnessing domestic violence and childhood morbidity. Witnessing domestic violence does not show a statistically significant relationship with childhood morbidity. The odds ratio is 1.01 and this p-value is also not significant. Educated women and childhood morbidity is studied as a confounder. Interestingly, maternal education emerges as a significant predictor. Women with higher education are associated with a higher likelihood of improved child health outcome with an odds ratio of 1.49 and a p-value of 0.004, which is significant. This suggests that educated mothers may have better resources or knowledge to protect their children from adverse health conditions. This figure illustrates as mediating effect of maternal experience of domestic violence on the relationship between maternal exposure to domestic violence and child health status. The values of path A, path B, and path C are are in log odds ratio, which when converted to odds ratio show the same values as predicted by as shown by last previous table. Path A. The coefficient of path A is 0.347 indicates a modest positive relationship suggesting that exposure to domestic violence is significantly associated with mother's own experience of domestic violence. Path B. The coefficient of path B is 0.065, which is also statistically significant, indicating that maternal experience of violence positively impact childhood health status to a modest degree. The path C, the direct effect is quite small, with a coefficient of 0.010, suggesting that while there is a direct association, it is not as strong as the mediated effect through maternal experience. However, the total effect of maternal exposure to domestic violence on child health status is 0.032, which is statistically significant. This shows that maternal experience of domestic violence significantly mediates this relationship between maternal exposure to domestic violence and childhood health status. Zhao, Lin, and Chen's approach to testing mediation. Ratio of indirect effect to the total effect gives a value of 0.690, meaning that about 69% of the effect of domestic violence exposure on childhood morbidity is mediated by domestic violence experience. Ratio of indirect effect to the direct effect gives a value of 2.228. That is, the mediated effect of domestic violence on childhood morbidity is approximately 2.2 times larger than the direct effect. This suggests that the indirect pathways through which domestic violence influences child health outcomes are significantly stronger than the direct impact of domestic violence exposure. Let's move to the discussion. Our study demonstrates that maternal exposure to domestic violence has a significant effect on childhood morbidity, with maternal experience of domestic violence serving as a mediating factor. Children exposed to domestic violence have higher odds ratio of facing health issues, with maternal domestic violence experience being key factor affecting the child well-being. Domestic violence negatively impacts maternal mental and physical health, which in turn affects the child health outcomes. Interventions targeting maternal domestic violence could improve child health, highlighting the importance of addressing domestic violence as a public health issue. Conclusion. By addressing maternal domestic violence, targeted interventions can help disrupt intergenerational cycle of trauma, contributing to improved child health outcomes and breaking the pattern of domestic violence transmission across generations. References. Here are the references used in this presentation, which provide the sources and evidence supporting the findings discussed. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sahar, for a very good, well-prepared presentation. And like always, Dr. Wes group and his interns are very confident, which I always observe because this actually reflects the amount of time that has been spent by both the mentors, Dr. Wes also, and I also would like to congratulate Dr. Tahani, who was also assisting Dr. Awais in mentoring this group. And I'm sure that it would have been a very good learning experience for Dr. Tahani as well, working under the mentorship of Dr. Wes. So excellent preparation, Seher. I would also like to appreciate you, especially the way you presented and the way you were aware with all the technical terminologies. In fact, some of the analysis was so difficult that even I could not understand it in depth. But hats off to Dr. West for explaining everything in detail to his group members. Well done. And if there are comments and feedback from any other participants, then please go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Shafak, it's very impressive, mashallah, so nicely designed. Everything was perfect. And the analysis, yes, I was thinking that are these interns really the beginners? Are you all doing it first time, or is it because it's advanced learning, not the level of a beginner?
I have done previously few projects
Mhm.
related to meta-analysis, but yeah, this type of project and project done on such a scale, like a presentation and proposal, this type of project was first time I feel.
Okay, and Sahar also first time. So amazing effort by the mentors. Wonderful, as expected. And with Dr. West, I have also learned many things and still learning. So thanks to Dr. West for all this hard work. And thanks to Dr. Tahani for assisting Dr. West. Wonderful.
Okay, so if there are no more if there are no questions, I just had one question, which I think could be later on asked by the journals as well, or maybe not. That the outcome variable which was here in this project was the childhood morbidity or the health status of the child, and I think that was mainly being assessed by three factors, whether there is an incidence of diarrhea or ARI and fever. But the list of the confounders that might affect these three measures which have been used for assessing the childhood morbidity could be like a lot of variables like water and sanitation situation or the immunization status of the child. So how will you account for that?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we look for the confounders, and after looking, we run analysis by adding all the possible confounders which can disrupt our result. And after excluding all the confounders one by one, we found that a woman education is actually the only significant confounder which can impact our study. That's why in I think slide number 20 it is so where we mentioned about mediation analysis. So in below at the end we also mentioned about physical education or social.
Yes, Bilal, yes, I'm aware that some of the confounders were accounted for in the analysis, like the education status and other social demographic variables. But like I was just wondering that if some of the variables related to water and sanitation and immunization status, if they were available in the DHS data set, then it could have been possible or beneficial to include them as well, which have not been included yet, I think.
In socioeconomic factors, we have included media and household size, family
Yeah.
size. Yeah, so most of the I think we have included, and most of variables we have checked. So most of them have insignificant relations. So yeah, we that's a valid question. But I think after checking all the confounders, there was only one significant was found, at least what I remember right now.
Right, right. That's okay, Bilal. Perhaps you can explore or discuss more with Dr. Wes at what would be the possible reason why some of the important confounders were not included in the statistical model.
And one thing I also want to add, so when we did the proposal, I think it was in 8th week, so we presented childhood vaccination, not childhood morbidity, as our main outcome, right? So we changed from childhood vaccination to childhood morbidity because in childhood vaccination, the DHS include only 1 year which was fit into our inclusion criteria. So sample size was reduced very low, and I think confidence interval was very large when we did analysis. So that's why we also decided to shift from childhood vaccination to childhood morbidity.
Okay, yes, perhaps that could be a plausible reason which you can also mention in your paper, that sample size was reduced because of this factor.
Yes.
Dr. Wes wants to say something. I think he raised his hand.
Yeah, so regarding confounder, immunization is an important confounder for morbidity, but for the same reason, we had already lost our sample. If we can recall that in PDHS, we have a sample size of around 12,000 women and around 11,000 children. And but because of the inclusion criteria is so stringent, and our the whole idea was on focused on maternal exposure to domestic violence, so that those responses came from domestic violence module, and that module does not get the whole sample size. It only receives perhaps some 7,000 or 9,000 women. Corresponding to those 9,000 women, under 5 children are like, again, they lost the sample size when we combined data set, because we had nearly 2,000 children whose mother responded in domestic violence. And these 2,000, approximately 2,000 children were under the age of 5 years. if we would have included immunization as a confounder, or if we would have taken immunization as an outcome variable, we were losing further sample size, because immunization is the complete immunization. The definition of complete immunization take cares only between 12 months to 23 months. So both younger than 12 months gets excluded, and greater than 23 months gets excluded. So that was the reason. And doing analysis with a small sample size is not an issue in standard regression, but for mediation, we would require some more power, and that power comes with larger sample size. So that is the reason that we had done few changes in our plan of analysis.
Yes, that totally makes sense, Dr. West. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions from any other intern, student? Okay, perfect. So well done, group 2, and wonderful presentation. So with this, now let's move on to group 3 presentation, which is led by Dr. Sonia. So who will be presenting from group number 3?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Okay. Walaikum assalam.
Should I start?
Yes, Rida, happy to see your poster after 2 PowerPoint presentations. Best of luck and go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Rida Masood, part of Group 3. We are a team of 4 members, including me, named Dr. Athar, Dr. Zainab, and Askari. We are led by an amazing mentor, Dr. Sonia Samin. The title of our study is Association between Intrinsic Capacity and Aquatic Fitness Intensity Among Older Persons at a Community Recreational Center in British Columbia, a cross-sectional study. The phenomenon of global population aging represents a significant demographic shift, due to which individuals aged 60 years or older are expected to be doubled till 2050. What's aging? It's a natural and irreversible process of cellular changes that encompasses biological, psychological, and social dimensions. Aging basically encompasses of 2 components, that's intrinsic capacity and functional ability. What's intrinsic capacity? This is one of the variables mentioned in our title as well. So it's an overall set of physical and mental abilities that a person can utilize at any given time. It comprises of several domains, including cognitive capacity, physical capacity, sensory, emotional, and social capacity. While the functional ability encompasses the qualities that enable the individual to live a fulfilling life. In our study, we have assessed the intrinsic capacity of our participants. Another variable mentioned in our title, that's aquatic fitness. Aquatic fitness basically refers to the physical activities performed in water. That includes swimming, aerobics, and resisting training. These exercises has shown number of physiological advantages like better joint mobility, less joint pain, shows decrease in joint inflammation, increased mental and psychosocial well-being, and has also shown an increased cardiovascular fitness. As we know that now WHO advocates to focus on enhancing overall well-being by preserving intrinsic capacity of an individual rather than disease-centric approach. In our study, we specifically focus on the geriatric population because it's an increasing yet still an overlooked demographic. So our study objective is to assess the association between intrinsic capacity and varying intensity levels of aquatic exercise among older adults in a recreational center. Now over to, thank you. Now over to Zainab for further elaboration of the methodology we used.
Thank you, Dr. Rida. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So we did a cross-sectional study because of time and resource limitations. And we conducted the study on 31 older adults aged 65 years and above who were participating in aquatic fitness classes in Canada. That was actually our inclusion criteria. We included adults 65 and above years who were actively participating in aquatic fitness classes for at least 6 months or more, and were able to independently complete the questionnaire. The study site was an aquatic fitness center in British Columbia, and the sample size was 100, but because of some problems at the center, we were only able to collect the data from 31 participants, but we are still collecting data. The data was collected using an ICOP questionnaire. ICOP stands for Integrated Care for Older People, It measures 6 domains, including cognitive decline, limited mobility, malnutrition, visual impairment, hearing loss, and depressive symptoms. It is a WHO validated tool. And we actually modified the ICOP questionnaire according to our needs. And we used it alongside socio-demographic and aquatic fitness intensity details. And regarding aquatic fitness intensity levels, that was our primary exposure variable. And we divided the participants into 3 intensity levels according to their exercises: a high intensity aquatic exercise group, moderate intensity aquatic exercise group, and low intensity exercise group. And we did a descriptive analysis using Stata 17 software, which included the frequencies and percentages of the categorical variables. We performed a one-way ANOVA test to see the relationship between ICOP scores and aquatic fitness intensity. As I mentioned earlier, that our data is not complete as of yet. So we are still collecting data. As soon as the data is collected, we will be using multiple linear regression to analyze the complete data set. Now, Askari Sayed will take over for the results. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zainab. So, as for the data that we did collect, we analyzed a sample of 31 older adults, with nearly half of them being aged between 65 and 69 years, and the majority being females. Most of the study participants had been participating in Aquafit for about more than 2 years, and nearly half of them participated in Aquafit exercised about 3 times a week or more. In regards to Aquafit intensity, the same proportion of participants engaged in moderate to severe intensity Aquafit exercises. The ICOP score for the participants ranged between 0 and 6, and the average ICOP score for our study of participants was around 3.25, with a standard deviation being 1.26. At this time, no statistically significant associations were found between the variables of ICOP score and Aquafit intensity. This is because our study data set isn't large enough yet, and there's quite a bit of variability in the data set that we do have. In terms of the ICOP domains on the top right, as you can see, we have 6 domains that are being covered: cognition, malnutrition, vision, hearing, mood, and mobility. Cognition has to do with how they're able to think and perform tasks, maybe multitask or perform a single task, including daily activities and other exercises. Malnutrition has to do with how their diet is, how well they keep themselves well fed, and vision has to do with how well they can see in terms of the things around them. Hearing has to do with how well they can hear and their hearing ability in general. And mood has to do with if they have any feelings of depressiveness or hopelessness, or do they generally feel pretty good about themselves and their life in general. And last but not least, mobility has to do with how well they can perform daily tasks, maybe go out for a walk, wash some dishes, go down and up some stairs, maybe get up and out the chair. In terms of their self-assessment physical health, we noted that a few of them found that their physical health was excellent. Some of them found that their physical health was fair, and a good amount of them found that their physical health was overall pretty good. What was interesting to note was that if not all participants found that they had improvements in their health post Aquafit. Not a lot of them found no changes, but most of them found that there was at least somewhat improvement in their health post Aquafit. And a good majority of them found that there was at least significant improvements in their physical health post Aquafit. And for the data itself, in terms of intensity, it's important to note that very few of our noted data set found that there was very few people who preferred low intensity, while around the same amount of people prefer either high intensity Aquafit or medium intensity Aquafit. Now I'd like to pass it on to Dr. Athar for conclusions.
Okay, our study limitations, the intended sample size was not collected due to permission and logistic issues at the study sites, and data collection using the ICOP tool had to be modified owing to setting. The result of our descriptive preliminary analysis suggested that the most compromised domains of the ICOP tool in the study's limited sample were vision and hearing, followed by cognitive as well as mobility-related issues. An important finding to consider is the participant self-reported improvement in health after participating in aquatic fitness, with the majority stating improvement in overall health, suggesting a possible improvement in health with long-term participation in aquatic fitness exercises. So these are our references, and this is our poster. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Group 3. for a very well-crafted presentation, excellent teamwork. I would like everybody to know here that Group 3 faced a lot of setbacks and delays. In fact, for 4 weeks almost, their internship was, you can say, on hold. And they were lagging behind the other groups. And in fact, after developing the proposal, they landed into data collection, and that data collection was extended, and then there were a lot of delays. And while the other groups were working on their data analysis and developing their presentations and also the rest of the manuscript, this group was just, waiting for the data to come. So I would like to really congratulate you and hats off to you for bringing this poster in shape within a matter of 5 days. Because for 1 month, your group was on hold. And when we announced that you still will be presenting in the final project presentation, so hats off to your mentor, Dr. Sonia, who took up this, and also to the whole group members, because this shows excellent team spirit, the way each of the group member has contributed to this poster and bringing this into shape in very few days, analyzing this small data and still contributing. Each group member, I think, deserves a clap here, and also the mentor who encouraged them. And they, because I do understand that when the research goes on hold for such a long period in such a short internship program, then the motivation of the group members often it go down. And we were afraid that you guys might not be now well motivated enough to proceed with this final presentation, but I'm happy to see your motivation, your teamwork under the leadership of Dr. Sonia. So that's especially what I want to appreciate about this group. And I expect that you will continue working with this team spirit and will try to bring more data and complete this excellent project, and will send it for publication, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Shafaq.
Congratulations to all the group. I was also not expecting exactly as Dr. Shafaq said, but this is very impressive and very happy with your team spirit. Thanks to
Yes.
Dr. Sonia. Thanks to all the group, and especially Askri has done a lot of effort in data
Yeah.
collection. It is actually, it's a very difficult thing. He kept trying, and he's still trying. And we wish good luck to all this group, and we hope that the data gets completed, inshallah, soon.
Yes.
Yes, Dr.
Yeah.
Awais?
Yeah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sonia. And Dr. Sonia has helped a lot. उनके बगैर हम यहाँ तक ना पहुँच सकते. Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay, well, very well done with this half collected data. Despite being all the difficulties, it seems that you have done a lot of work, and you kept up the motivation, and just did not back off from presenting. Otherwise, I would think that, okay, if my data is not there, I don't want to go in front of the audience and present partially collected data. So that's a big deal. Just for the suggestion for the group, you can consider one of the option that might work is that in US and Canada, people often submit online surveys. Would be a good option for you to collect data. You would not need to go into the center. As far as if you are not observing their physical activity, if everything is self-reported, then that option might work for you, and that will not require permission from centers. So if that is doable for the group, then I think you should explore this option.
I will look into that option then, Dr. Reese. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll look into it as soon as I can.
Yeah, maybe Dr. West, we can do this as a complimentary, adding this survey findings and that. So this is what you were saying, presenting this as well as the secondary data set analysis in one study.
No, that won't that won't be a secondary data, because they will still collect this data,
Mhm.
but from different platform. They would not need to go to the centers,
Mhm.
right? So it would be just recruiting participant from online survey. So
Okay.
Amazon provides this platform where you put your questionnaire and then send out the questionnaires to different participants from different online platforms. And so this is just a
Yes.
data collection method, a tool.
Right. So online data.
So that will be a difficult, but so they have to decide which difficulty they want to face. Do they want to get keep going into different centers and asking permission, or what they can do is from Amazon Mechanical Turk is that they would send, let's suppose, 10,000 out surveys. Maybe out of 10,000, 20% or maybe 15 or 10% of participants are performing these kind of activities, and they are falling into their inclusion criteria, and they can proceed with their data.
Yeah. Or maybe they can also send on their own public survey in their whatever networks they have.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's another option.
Because when you are going officially into some center, that will definitely require administrative approvals, and that will be a big hurdle. So just throw this online survey in your networks, in your WhatsApp groups or whatever groups you have. And I hope people will respond to this. And especially if you have some scoring, something which helps them know about themselves, right? You can add some scoring for ICOP. You can tell them that this survey will tell you about your score and how much it deviates from the average score. Maybe that can be an incentive for them to respond to this questionnaire and fill it. So that's one thing which you do when you have challenges in reaching the sample size. And the scoring can be done easily with the jot form.
Dr. Mishra?
Yes.
Can I add? Yeah. So that would be a good thing if this team can like say that, okay, to assess their aquatic fitness and to assess their physical health, ICOP will give you something that they can monitor, right?
Yeah.
And based on their activity, whatever score they are, they can monitor their activity, their fitness level, their in which direction they have to go. Do they want to go high intensity or low intensity? Things like that. So this would become incentive for participants. Okay, I would need to get this result.
Yes. And if you do this change, Skari, you have to remember, you have to inform us to BMY Health Canada REB, right? You have to inform us of any change in methodology.
Absolutely. If there's any change, I will let you guys know as soon as possible.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Wes. If you wanted to complete, you can please go ahead. Or are you done?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
For now, I'm done.
Okay. So this
Yeah.
was the group actually which actually their research was in Canada side, and this was the first time, and we had to set up our REB, the ethical approval board in Canadian side. So thanks to this group, and I really wish they complete the data, inshallah, soon. Thanks to the efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bushra and Dr. Wes, for your helpful suggestion. And yes, I agree that online data collection option can be explored. In fact, maybe some sort of snowball sampling technique can be adopted, because I do know that you have a very specific inclusion criteria, and finding those people in just like general population would be very difficult. So if you have already collected data from some people who participate in aquatic fitness, then perhaps you can get contact details of some other potential participants which they know, and you can then send them questionnaire on WhatsApp and request them to fill the form for you. So that could be one possibility if you can explore that. Okay, so well done. Yes, Athar, do you want to say something?
No, ma'am. Thank you very much for your suggestion, and it will help, inshallah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, because you have to complete this project, and we have given you, this is for the first time that we have given additional time to any group. You still have the month of November, and your mentor is also committed to provide you support during this month. So please take full benefit of this opportunity, because obviously after November, the mentor will be busy in her own other tasks. So you have this time period. So please exhaust all the possible options during this month.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, Inshan.
Okay, perfect. So with this, now we'll move on to our last group presentation by group number 4, which is being led by Dr. Shafat.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Yes, Walaikum Assalam. So Dr. Zishan, you can share the screen if you are presenting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, and let's hope that with the final concluding presentation, we all then move on to the prizes and awards.
Ma'am, I would request Dr. Alvina to kindly share it because although I have it, but it's not in my phone and it's not complete. I have sent her on laptop. We have made both the presentation
Okay.
in PPT form and also in poster form. So I would like to start with the poster one.
Okay, yes, Alvina, if you can share the screen. And be mindful of the time. You have about 10 to 12 minutes, okay?
Okay, ma'am. So I think I will start with this. Actually, there was one problem with this, that the images were in black, especially the logo of BMY Health, but rest of it is fine. The original one was like normal in white color. But let's
Wait, Dr.
start. So,
Zishan, I will share my screen and then you can continue. Please wait.
okay, thank you, thank you.
Kindly unshare your screen.
Yes, Alvina, you can share now. Zishan has stopped sharing. Okay, we can see the poster.
Yes, so this is our poster, and we are a group of 5 members with Dr. Shafat Raza as our mentor. Our team includes me, Dr. Zishan Ahmed, Dr. Alvina Azim, Sir Rahman Gul, Dr. Asad, and Dr. Devanand. So the topic of our research is frequency of irritable bowel syndrome (IBS) and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder (ADHD) and their association with each other in university students and graduates. So the brief introduction of this topic is that IBS is a chronic gastrointestinal disorder with almost a prevalence of 9 to 20%. And the same goes for ADHD. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder with a prevalence of approximately 3.4%, especially if it persists into adulthood, because actually it is by itself a disease of childhood. For our research, when we conducted a literature review, we found not only that a population gap exists for Pakistan, but there was also a knowledge gap that could not establish any association or at least any relation of these two ADHD and IBS variables. So we decided to conduct a study where our main objective was to find not only the frequency and prevalence of these two conditions, but also to see if there is any association exists between these two conditions. For this, we have employed a cross-sectional study analytical type, and our target population was the university students and graduates with 18 to 35 years of age, and especially those who are currently enrolled in university or doing some postgraduate training programs these days. And we were able to achieve almost 82% of our sample size, which comes out to be 163 out of 186. We have done a convenience sampling where we have employed an online questionnaire and we have shared it on different social media platforms to collect our data. Now, Dr. Elvina, I think I would like you to share the PPT because here it would not be like visible to others.
Zishan, it is very well visible. Do you have any additional
Okay, it's fine.
material? Okay.
No, it's this. It was like the PPT was like more elaborate, but I know this, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's visible.
okay. So as for data analysis, we have used the Jamovi 2.6.13 software as recommended to us by our mentor, Dr. Shafat, and as agreed upon by several members of the team. And we have done descriptive analysis, inferential analysis, and regression analysis using it. So the descriptive analysis revealed that almost 61.3% of our population was males, and the age group was 18 to 24 years, and they were belonging to the field of MBBS. Um, so here, actually, we had two main categories of people who had responded to our questionnaire. One of them were the MBBS students and graduates, and the other one was pharmaceuticals. So the more prevalent was the MBBS response. Secondly, I would like to share that once we further continued our data analysis in the descriptive phase, we also found that in the inferential analysis, we also found that the prevalence of IBS was 41.1%. And the prevalence of ADHD came out to be 31.9%. So IBS was more prevalent in our study compared to the global prevalence, which was maximum reaching 20%, and same went for ADHD, which was like the surprising result of our study. And then we also found that IBS was much more prevalent in females compared to males. We have also found that in our association analysis, or the chi-square test, when we have employed that, we found that although IBS and ADHD were not directly themselves associated with each other, the p-value came out to be 0.8, and odds ratio was 1.08, and the confidence interval was like crossing the null value, so it was not significant. But we did found some significant associations in our study. The first one was related to IBS. There are several associations, and then ADHD too. So IBS and gender were significantly associated with each other. As I've already pointed out, with females having more odds of of IBS compared to males. Secondly, we have found that IBS and caffeine intake were also significantly associated. So those who were taking less caffeine compared to those who were taking more caffeine had less odds of IBS. So like less caffeine intake was less associated with IBS compared to more, or especially the daily caffeine intake. Thirdly, we found that IBS and depression were significantly associated with each other, with p-value of approximately 0.03. And it was like important because it was not only depression, but also we classified it as mental health conditions, because not only depression, also anxiety was significantly associated with IBS only. And both of these were not associated with ADHD, however. And as for ADHD, we have found that no significant association of ADHD existed with any of the variables in our study, except that it was associated with the field of study. We have found that MBBS students had more association with ADHD compared to the pharmaceutical students and graduates. And secondly, we have also found that we also found another like completely different than IBS and ADHD, which was the stress and field of study. So we found that the students of pharmaceutical they less reported like stress score of more than 5. So it was found that MBBS students had more stress association compared to ADHD, compared to pharmaceutical students, and this association also came out to be significant. So these were almost all of the associations. And one additional I would like to mention was that we found that physical activity was also significantly associated with ADHD, and that those who were doing a moderate physical, that is almost 3 to 4 times or 3 to 5 days per week, had less association and less odds of having ADHD compared to those who were doing just light physical activity. So these were some of the significant associations that we have found in our study. And on the same, and there are several references which I hope that you can see on the screen. And that's that. That was our research.
Yes, Zishan, I think you missed the conclusion.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I have included that with the result, like in explanation, because in result section we have included the values or odds ratio, p-value, but in conclusion, like it's like the whole paraphrasing. So
Yeah, no,
in
I just
explanation,
I
yes.
I just want you to practice that how you just conclude the poster. So if you have written the conclusion, you can present it.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, so as found in the results section, we concluded that the frequency or prevalence of IBS was 41.1%, with females being with it being more prevalent in females compared to males, and the frequency of ADHD was 31.9%, with equal prevalence between the genders. It was also found that no association existed between IBS and ADHD, and it was, however, some other associations were found, such as the association of IBS with gender, the association of IBS with caffeine intake, and its association with depression and anxiety, that is the mental health. And we also found that ADHD was associated with less ADHD was associated with moderate physical activity, and also that more MBBS students were more likely to have ADHD compared to pharmaceutical students. So this was our research mainly. And a third line like result of our research, we found that stress levels were not equally distributed among the field of study, that the males, that MBBS students had more, they were more reporting of having stress of above 5 as compared to pharmaceutical students. So this was our research, and I think we have established not only the prevalence of these two conditions, but we have also found a negative result, that is no significant association existing between the two conditions that we were hoping to look for, and we were trying to find an association between. So that's that. I hope.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr.
Yes,
Zishan.
welcome.
Good effort from your side. A good presentation, and the poster is also good. In fact, I was reading a lot of things that you have written on the poster. They are well written, although there
Yes,
are
ma'am.
some
We also
areas
have
of
some charts. I think Dr. Alvina can share it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, these were missing. So very good. If you have made the graphs, you can later on incorporate in your paper also, in your poster also, you can improve it. And it is fine, even if you have not established the association between your primary independent and dependent variables, you should try to look for reasons that why this association was not established. And in your discussion section, you should come up with some very good 3 or 4 reasons, give references. It could be attributable to your methodology, to the sample size, to your study population, to the tool that you have used. So there could be several limitations also, that why there was no association, because if the previous literature has supported association between these two variables, then you should justify the findings of your study in your discussion section, or vice versa. If the literature supports your finding, then you should refer to that literature. So be confident with your results and give proper justifications for your findings, and while also taking care of the limitations of your methods and your study.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so questions from the audience?
Yes, me. So
Yes,
great,
Dr. Vasha.
great effort. Thanks to the group. And it's interesting to know that we have a high frequency of IBS and ADHD in our sample as compared to the global. Yes. So I want to know how did we actually label them? Is this with just a questionnaire?
Yes, ma'am. So we have self-diagnosed IBS on the basis of ROM4 criteria and ADHD on the basis of ADHD self-report scale questionnaire.
Okay, and the global literature is that may be actually diagnosis made by the doctors, right? With gold
Yes,
standard
ma'am. Yes,
methods. So that may be the reason. One
yes.
reason can be. And Dr. Shafat can also, is if he's here, he can also guide us better if our diagnostic criteria or this screening criteria was robust enough or not. And secondly, we can improve this first. It's a good effort actually. We can improve this further for our manuscript. You need to maybe make the title shorter and more crisp, like frequency of IBS and ADHD, instead of writing and their association with each other. It's self-explanatory when you add two terms, and maybe initially you write the word of association in the start of the title. It will be smarter in that way. Secondly, in methodology, you say it is analytical cross-section study, right?
Yes.
So in analytical cross-sectional study, we actually find the association, and the sample size calculator uses those statistics, those measures that are for association. But what sample size calculator had you used actually? I remember it was prevalence. It was a sample size calculator for prevalence, right? So if that sample size calculator were used, then it's better that you write it as a descriptive cross-sectional study. And it was simply frequency. And in the secondary objective, you can say that you found the association as well, but the primary objective will stay as frequency or prevalence and not the association. And then then the study design will be not based on the association, but based on the primary objective of frequency and prevalence. So you will just write it as descriptive cross-section study.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, I think Dr. Shafat has raised his hand.
Yes, Dr. Shafat, please.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
First of all, I would like to congratulate all the groups and mentors for the excellent work, including my group as well. But there was one major limitation from this research that I would like to obviously share, that many of you, like Dr. Bushra and Dr. Shafat, are aware that the criteria that was used for diagnosis of that was actually not the full 100% diagnosis. It was actually of a likely diagnosis for ADHD. That was a WHO validated score, but that score was actually to be used by actually the clinicians. Like mostly it is ADHD is diagnosed in psychiatric clinics or psychiatric deal really. So that score was actually for to be used by the clinicians, and it consists of two parts, A and B, and it has nearly, I think, some 18 questions. But the first part that was more important and was concerned with the likely diagnosis, and that consists of 6 questions, and there was a criteria of questions. So we only use the part 1 that consists of the diagnostic 6 questions because there were different terminologies and other concepts that we thought that it was not only the medical students. So the questionnaire was also circulated in other students as well. So we just kept the part B, that was actually a supportive part only, to just make the things easier. And secondly, as this was a questionnaire that was distributed online, so there is surely a limitation that some people would have really been confused with some terminologies, some psychiatric terms or other things. So that must have contributed to, I guess, some false negative results in that, because I'm not much worried about the IBS frequency, because IBS is much more in Pakistan than that is reported in this study, because we are seeing these patients a lot. So this functional GI disorder and IBS, they are a bit overlapping, so that's too common everywhere. So but for ADHD, that's I can appreciate that that the circulation of this form, which is not actually designed to be used in online surveys, rather to be used by clinicians himself by asking those questions. So whenever obviously we ask questions from the patients for any kind of disorder, so we actually customize our question as per the audience. If there's a literate audience, or audience who is not much literate or does not understand the typical things, so obviously we just customize our type of questions or choice of words to get that answer. So I guess that that must have been the problem when filling this form. So that resulted in a bit higher frequency of ADHD. So otherwise, the things are well with that. So that I think was a major limitation in data collection.
So you modified that ADHD tool?
Yes, we didn't the methods that we only use the diagnostic part of it that actually gives us the likely diagnosis, because the part of that question consists of only general questions that was of a supportive to a clinician that he can make an overall decision. But that would have been too long a questionnaire and would have been really complex, because the part one was actually a bit difficult, so not very general questionnaire.
That's fine. We'll mention that in the methodology, how we use that tool, which is supposed to be used by a clinician. And that's another finding, how people respond to this tool, and what's the prevalence, what the frequency actually when they report it on their own. So whatever we have done, we'll just mention the limitations in our paper, and that's fine. So good work overall.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Bushra, and also the points raised by Dr. Shafat that whatever modifications have been made and whatever the limitations were, they should be clearly acknowledged in the paper. Okay, are there any more comments and questions regarding this project? Okay, perfect. So thank you very much, Zishan, for a very good presentation. And I would also like to appreciate Zishan as well, especially. I think he has been very responsible group member in his group. I have personally observed his performance, and I'm very happy the way he led the group, because I think Zishan has been the group leader for most of the time for this group and has compensated for other group members as well. So well done, Zishan, for all your efforts. Until the very end, you have managed to lead the group and to really maintain coherence within your group members. So well done in that sense also.
Yes,
Yeah,
great
thank
work,
you,
Zishan.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so with this, we conclude all the group presentations. It was a very interesting discussion. And although I do not give such remarks, but I think that among all the cohorts that I have witnessed in my BMY journey, this was my personally the most favorite cohort. You were less troublemakers, all the interns who were actively participating in their groups. I know I will not take any names here. There were a few exceptions, few interns who failed to participate in their groups, and one or two interns who did not respond to our emails or requests. But I think majority, more than 90% of you were extremely professional, very respectful, and you all supported each other. You even covered for your group members, compensated for them, all four groups I'm talking about. And there were no fights among the group members, which we have witnessed previously. So this was a very good cohort, in my opinion. In fact, the best one so far.
I agree.
Yes, Dr. Bushra knows the reasons behind this
Yes,
comment
we
that
know
I gave.
the challenges we faced in previous cohorts.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, this was a very comfortable, very nice cohort.
Yes, very respectful, very professional. और बहुत अच्छा आप लोगों के एक दूसरे के साथ the team dynamics that you guys showed is exemplary. So well done for that as well. So now the most anticipated part is the announcement of the best interns and the best mentor and the best research project as well. So for me, all of you are best interns in this cohort. All those who are right now present in the meeting, they are best interns for me, and the mentors as well, and also Dr. Faryal, since she is not in the meeting, so I'm not forgetting her. She has made wonderful contribution to the group. Okay. So the first announcement will be for the top 3 interns. In most of the batches, we give top 3 interns, but this time the competition was very tough, so we have 5 names. There are 3 top interns, you can say, 2 consolation prizes also, because we did not want to miss them because of their also commendable efforts which they have made. So the first intern would also receive a small scholarship in the form of 25% refund of the registration fees. This time we are awarding 1 scholarship, and the rest of the interns will receive the certificates, and also this will be mentioned in their experience letters, this achievement. So the first prize and the recipient of the scholarship is from group number 1, and it is Rumesa Nawar. Many congratulations, Rumesa.
Congratulations, congratulations. Wonderful.
And we can have a
Rumesa.
clapping, the
Clapping.
virtual clapping
And Dr.
for
Faryan
Rumesa.
as well.
It's a lot of effort behind this.
Yes.
It's a combined effort for sure. Thank you so much for all of your mentorship. And Dr. Faryan, Dr. Faizan as well for collecting the data and always going onto the field. Really appreciate like Dr. Shafaq, Bushra, and Dr. OS, Dr. Saima. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
So, congratulations to Rumesa and her group members as well, because I know this is a
Yes.
team effort.
Yes, credit goes to everyone.
Yeah, and I just, for your information, I would also like to mention here that the parameters on which we assessed your performance of all interns was the timely submission of the assignments, your attendance and participation in the meetings, your mentor meetings, the quality of the assignments that you have produced, and also your professional attitude and your relationship with your colleagues. On these parameters, we have assessed you. And I would like to share that the top 3 interns which we have selected for the first time, all 3 of you have shown 100% attendance in the mentor meetings, in all the meetings, which is also
Yes,
commendable.
this is actually amazing. 100% attendance.
Yeah, I was very happy to see these stats for the first time.
Yes.
Okay, so the second intern is Bilal Ahmed from Dr. Awais group.
Congratulations, Bilal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wonderful.
And thank you for
Yes.
all the BMY team, and especially Dr. Wes for throughout guidance. And he was very enlightening part for us throughout our this
Yes.
4-month period, because he guided us at each step. And even we message him at night, and he just reply and explain everything in detail. So that's very commendable.
Yes, we are aware of that. Yes, Dr. Wes is very responsive. So
Yes.
congratulations, Bilal.
Great
And
mentor.
this decision of the best interns is always taken after receiving feedback from your mentors and from the core team members. Dr. Wes is saying that used to be my Dr. Wes. We know that you are available daytime, nighttime, every time you would
Yes,
respond.
Dr. Wes is always available for their interns. Very
Yes.
nice.
Okay, and the third intern among the top 3 is Zishan Ahmed from group number 4, whom
Great.
I've already appreciated.
Congratulations, Zishan.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to the BMY team, and I would especially like to thank my mentor, Dr. Shafat, and secondly, Dr. Avas, because I was like, that the best thing I like about research is data analysis. I use Excel, R, but when I learned about Stata, especially those 4 sections, they were like, I just started loving data analysis even more. So, special thanks to Dr. Avas and Dr. Shafat too, because he was like always available to all of us. And Dr. Bushra, of course, and you, ma'am. Dr.
Yes.
Shafaq, thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, Zishan. The opportunities are there for learning, but it's up to you. It's up to interns to avail. Thanks to you.
Yes, congratulations, Ishan. And now the 2 consolation prizes, which especially from my side and Dr. Bushra's side, because we really know the hard work that you two have put in your projects. So the 2 consolation prizes are for Askari Sayyed and also for Dr. Faizan from Group 1 and Group 2.
Yes, congratulations. This is honestly, it's a very difficult task to collect data, and I really want to appreciate both of you
Thank you
to
so
take
much.
up this difficult task and in traveling cities. So amazing effort.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bushra. Thank you, Dr. Shafaq. That means a
Thank
lot,
you so
really.
much.
Yes, congratulations and well
Thank you.
done, both of you, Askari and Dr. Faizan. We know how much effort it takes to go on field and to collect data, and also the intellectual input that you guys have given in your research projects. So
Yes.
this decision is always difficult, to decide these 3 or 5 names. For me, every one of you
Yes,
have put your
honestly.
best effort.
It's
But
very hard for us to announce the
yeah,
first, second, and third because we have so many names in our minds, and it's hard to stick on
yes.
one.
Then we take help from just from your attendance, just to save ourselves the
Yes,
effort.
we
just
can make it objective.
yeah. So just from very, very little margin in attendance, we just decide, the position and Otherwise, all of you in according to the performance were equal.
Yes, all our best.
Okay, so this was regarding the best interns. And next, I will announce the Best Mentor Award. Again, I think that all the mentors, they have put equal effort according to their capacity and their experience, their timing, their strict schedule. But obviously, we have to come up with one name. So the mentors are formally evaluated by their respective group members, also your interns. And also, we take feedback from the core team members. So based on all these evaluations and just with slight margins in the scoring that you receive from your group members and to the feedback that is given by the core team members, then we come up with a final name. So this time also the Best Mentor Award is going to Dr. Awais for group number 2.
Congratulations.
So Dr. Awais.
Amazing.
Ji,
Congratulations.
thank you very
Dr.
much. Thank you very much. And again, this is because of the team's dedication and their energy to bear me. So thank you very much.
Now we know that Dr. West, you put a lot of effort and you remain very interactive throughout the process with your interns and guide them in detail. And same goes for the other mentors as well. But just with, slight margins, we have to decide one name. So
Yes,
congratulations, Dr. Awais and his team members also. I know they will be very happy because their mentor is receiving award and we know that how much effort he has put with his team members. Okay, now the final and the most important award is for the best research project. If I was to give award, I would have given it to maybe 2 groups, but definitely we cannot give to 2. So we have decided one best research project, and that is going to be group number 1. The research project Bridging the Gap, a study on mental health of institutionalized children and caregivers effectiveness. So,
yes. Congratulations.
to Dr. Saima and group number 1 for conducting this
Thank you
mixed
so
method
much.
study. Yeah, it was a very difficult study and very strong rationale. So
Yes.
that's why we
And very
decided.
innovative and going to be beneficial for the community.
Exactly.
To
Yes,
BMY
those
Health.
were some primary reasons of awarding group number 1 with this best project
So
award.
congratulations to each of the member, all the interns and mentor of this group. So it's combined effort and designing the study. This topic was very innovative. Everything was perfect.
Yes, because in very
Thanks.
short time period, this group managed to collect data to achieve their desired sample size.
Yes.
Because the rest of the groups, they also had very strong topics. In fact, Dr. Sonia's group, I personally like that topic a lot. But when you have to award somebody, then there has to be something which is distinguished from the rest of the groups. And this thing was especially that you people in a very short span of time managed to collect on-field data, which I haven't seen in any previous cohort. I haven't seen an
Yes,
example of this.
exactly.
Yeah, traveling and going to centers, seeking permissions,
Yes.
or bringing the data, बहुत मुश्किल है.
And completing this within the deadline. I mean, this
Within the,
different data collection within the deadline they completed.
Yeah.
So hats off to the team.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you, all the mentors.
Thank you, Faizan.
Thank you
And
very
thanks-
much.
Thank you, Rumesa. Thank you, Faryal. And thanks to Dr. Saima. Amazing effort, Dr. Saima. This inspiration comes from the mentors. And we really appreciate your effort in mentoring this group.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saima.
Okay, so
Many thanks.
if any mentor wants to give any feedback, any points that we need to work on the BMY team, then please do feel free to share. We still have a couple of minutes. You can share your feedback with us for an improvement in the program. Interns are most welcome. And yes, in fact, a very good internship feedback form, a comprehensive feedback form will be shared with you on Slack. And that feedback form is to be filled by all the interns. I think Dr. Bushra will share the link, or I will share the link on Slack with all of you. And that is mandatory to receive your internship experience certificates. In fact, I will just share the link in the Slack after ending this meeting. And I want all the interns to take a good 10 to 15 minutes to fill that feedback form and share it today. Don't leave it for tomorrow, otherwise you will forget and then we'll have to send you reminders. So please fill that feedback form and in detail and let us know how was your experience with us for these past 3 months, and what improvements can we make. And all of you have to fill it. And after that, your internship experience letters and certificates will be processed and emailed to you, right, Dr. Bushra?
Yes. And also they have to submit the files in audit form first. Then they receive it.
Okay. So that I think will also be
There has to
communicated
be
to
an
you
audit by the ethical review committee to ensure that
upon the completion.
to ensure that they are complying with the publication ethics.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the instructions are mentioned on the ERC approval letter. You can see that. Follow those. You have to submit all the files in the audit form when we send that. And once you complete, then you will be given the certificates.
Okay, perfect. And mentors are most welcome to share their feedback now or even in our WhatsApp group,
Yeah,
which is
basically.
specifically are dedicated to mentors.
Yes, I want to know the feedback, and it's amazing effort by the mentors. Honestly, it's a lot of intellectual effort, leadership effort, the inspiration that you all give to the interns. This made all this possible. So we want to know how we can improve this further. How was your experience? What you want us to do in the next cohorts to make your work better?
Yes. Okay, so I will share the link of the feedback form for the interns that they have to fill in Slack in just a moment. And if there are no other comments or suggestions, then we'll probably like to conclude today's ceremony. Once again, many congratulations to all of you, and well done. And I hope that you have gained something very useful and productive that you can later on apply in your research career, whatever you have gained from BMY.
Inshallah. Thank you, Dr. Sonia.
Yes, yes, I agree with you, Bilal.
Yes, it's I think R is going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
thing.
Yes, and since Dr. Wes will be directing the next cohort, our internship program, I'll be going on a break. So I'm very hopeful that Dr. Wes will bring many innovations specifically in these softwares and workshops, and I'm very hopeful that he will be able to live up to your expectations.
Inshallah. Thank you both, Dr. Shafaq and Dr. Wes. You really make this program wonderful. And Dr. Shafaq, you are going on a short break. We won't spare you for a longer time.
Yes,
So enjoy your break
hopefully.
and join back soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Inshallah.
You are here with us for a year now, and
Yeah.
I can say that you have really taken this program to a new. You have improved this quality a lot, and I hope Dr. Wes, he has also shown really great work, and it was combined effort. Both you and Dr. Wes have made this a quality program. So
Thank you
inshallah,
very much, Dr. Bushra, for your kind words and appreciation and encouragement and excellent leadership. I really enjoyed my period with BMY Health, and hopefully I will be in touch, inshallah, for future
inshallah,
batches also.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's
Yes, I think
so
that
just share the link.
Yeah, I will. I can share here in chat also, and I also share on Slack.
Okay, great.
Okay, so thank you very much everyone for joining and for your wonderful contribution and for making this program a success. Thank you. Allah Hafiz, everyone.
Thank you
Take
very much.
care.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you,
Allah
Hafiz.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.